I know all of you have questions about what in the world the logo corner is, so allow me to establish an FAQ so I can explain myself and my erratic behavior. According to dictionary.com, a logo, also known as a logotype, is a graphic representation or symbol of a company name, trademark, abbreviation, etc., often uniquely designed for ready recognition. That was very dry, jeez. You see them everywhere, from the front grills of cars to television programming both before, after, during, and in between shows, to the supermarkets where everything in the store has a brand, to your favorite restaurants and hotspots you wish to frequent, and even on the internet with Google and Netflix being the daily hangouts of searchers and bingers alike. Logos are a study in graphic arts. They represent the core identity of the company in question, and the ways in which they are represented are almost endless. The multifarious ways in which logos appear comes from a fusion of not only creative minds at work, but minds that are business savvy. Well, at least most of the time. The simplest answer to that is that they have and are going to be heavily ingrained in the zeitgeist. Worldwide, inhabitants of many countries could recognize a Nike, McDonald's, or Apple logo and could tell you the type of company associated with the logo. This can also apply to logos from movie companies, television companies, and home video companies. As they are and have been for decades purveyors of popular and culturally relevant content, whether it may have been the classic film Casablanca or the latest episode of MASH. The logos proudly dictated where the source of your wondrous content came from, though most people would probably write them off as simple vanity plates that indicated the end of a show and, consequently, the end of your attention span. I, however, am fascinated by them. Hey, no editorializing. Growing up, I found many things fascinating, though the principal fascination I had was with pictures and colors. That was why I adored animated movies, because they exemplified an ideal nexus between moving pictures and wondrous colors. Admittedly, black and white animations mattered to me to a certain extent. Therefore, many of the logos I witnessed at the beginnings and ends of programming mattered just as much, if not more, than the programming itself. The visual aspects of these logos made me wonder how much time the graphic artists invested into producing these bad boys. In addition, the music scores associated with the logos also piqued my curiosity. I knew that in movies and animated films, film scores were composed, so I figured that the logos had to be immensely important if there was a music score to go along with the visual effects. I was definitely strange back then, I know. But of course, as any logo compilation website would tell you, or I suppose any reviewer online could tell you, the unintended consequence of having creative minds create logo identities is that on many occasions you could create unsavory monsters that either scared people or made people question the associated company's sanity. The classic example is this, of course. This logo begs the question, were they trying to be avant-garde or freaky? Were they even that premeditated in creating the logo? It's definitely hard to say. In addition, I alluded previously to logo compilation websites. Websites such as CLG Wiki and TV Tropes seem to categorize specific logos and discussed ones that were considered scary. The main appeal of many of the logos that are posted on YouTube today are to probably see which ones are the most scary and evinces the most horror out of the people who watch it. As a result, like with reviewers on Channel Awesome or the people at Everything is Terrible, logos that exist at the bottom of the barrel or are the absolute depiction of all that is wrong with the world have been dredged up and exposed to a wider audience. Of course, nowadays I either just laugh in the face of those logos or cringe when they appear, but I'm sure my 6-year-old self would have freaked out at the sight of them. These logos again resurrect the question of who in their right minds greenlighted the creation of these logos, and even more puzzling, who were responsible for these Frankensteins. The world may never know. Well, as you can see from the title of the video, I am attempting to create a series in which I discuss certain logos, the evolution of these logos, and why I think they are either significant or downright insane. There are two types of logos that readily come to mind for me: iconic logos and weirdo logos. Iconic logos are logos such as the Columbia Pictures logo, where almost anyone can recognize the Torch Lady and perhaps easily associate the visuals of the Torch Lady with the movie company in question. The same can apply for Coca-Cola, though Columbia and Coca-Cola did have an interesting history together. More on that partnership later. The weirdo logos are the logos that, because of their rarity, or because they represented obscure companies, or because they are so freaking strange when it comes to either visuals, music, or lack of music thereof, represent absolute oddities in the visual arts world. These logos are by far the most cryptic, spellbinding, and unintentionally hilarious. Ever since I made my first YouTube account in 2007, I have inundated myself in the world of logos, logo compilations, and even convinced myself into believing some of them are so scary they were paralyzing. Of course, I have matured and understood that these things are not going to eat me alive, but I am willing to contend that these logos are not only culturally important, but also cultural oddities. I suppose I am riding on the coattails of the Oddity Archive when I say that the purpose of this series is to explore and expose the oddities of logos, though I will also spend time on the more recognizable ones. Most if not all of my videos will cover logos that have been created for movie companies, television companies, and networks, and home video companies and distributors. This is because a lot of the logos that I have seen, and also have been documented by the real logo fanatics out there, mostly have come from these company types. Keep in mind that as you, the viewer, watch this series, you will see these types of logos. Most of my logo discussions probably will not stem from, say, product logos such as the ones for Chrysler, Chevrolet, or Doritos. I will select a logo and give background information regarding the company surrounding the logo. I will then discuss the major characteristics of the logo, including the visual and musical aspects of it. If the logo is considered iconic, I will discuss how the logo evolved over time. It's interesting what one will find in these logo evolutions, because while some have remained similar over time, many have underwent stark alterations that I consider to be downright strange. Of course, I will attempt to outline all variants. If I neglect to mention one rare variant, feel free to leave a comment, though I hope to illustrate the important and more common variants of the logo. I will then give my commentary and opinion throughout the entire video, hopefully in a comedic and entertaining fashion. I would like to thank the Closing Logo Wiki for doing a large amount of research regarding logos and the logo evolutions associated with them. They will be my primary source regarding the logos themselves. The logo community is an interesting place, let me tell you. I hope all of you enjoy this wacky series and perhaps become more enlightened about logos and the weird world of graphic arts. Until then, this has been Youngblood Fantasy 91, and ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you all on the brighter later. Good night, folks.